Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Today's video is going to be a long overdue haul update. I think it was like a few weeks ago, maybe a little bit longer at this point. I filmed a Sephora haul and then also an Ulta haul. I'll link the original videos in the description box below, but I did pick up some like older favorites but also some new products. And whenever I film a haul these days, I like to come back and film a haul update and let you know which products worked and which ones didn't. So I've been testing out all of these products and I'm going to go through and let you guys know what I thought about them. If you guys are planning on grabbing any of these products, don't forget to use Ebates. This video is not sponsored by Ebates, but I feel like I have to tell you whenever I'm talking about Sephora, especially because Sephora has been double cash back lately. Like it's been 8% cash back. I was booking a hotel and I always use Ebates when I use Expedia because you do get cash back for that as well. And I noticed that Sephora was double cash back twice over the past few weeks. So I definitely recommend using it if you don't already. Again, not sponsored. I do have a link if you want to use it. I'll link it below, but you can just go to their website as well. Okay, I did pick up two new powders that I've been testing out. I've kind of been on a powder kick over the past few months. I'm thinking about doing a video on my favorite powders or my favorite drugstore powders, but the one that I was most excited to try out is the new, well, not so new at this point, again, because I'm a little bit late to the game, but the newer Urban Decay All-Nighter Waterproof Setting Powder. I definitely wanted to grab this as soon as I saw that it was going to be released because I really like the All-Nighter products. The All-Nighter foundation is like my favorite foundation of all time. So here's the thing about this powder. They claim that it is a translucent powder, and that is definitely not the case. It has a hint of color to it, and if you have a very fair or very light skin tone, it's going to be way too dark for you. I got a pretty significant tan for me this summer, so it actually matches my skin tone perfectly at this point. But when I first tried it, I want to say like about a month ago, I didn't have very much of a tan, a little bit, but not anything too crazy, and it was way too dark for me. So if you are normally around my regular skin tone, like I wear Urban Decay All Nighter in 0.5 or 1.0, it's going to be too dark for you. I actually use the Smashbox Blurring Foundation brush to apply this powder because it's very dense, but it's very soft. So it actually picks up the product really well, and then I can buff it or press it into the skin. And I have to tell you guys, this powder is like a magical powder, and I kind of wrote it off my list initially because it really made my skin look so much darker than it actually was. So that's definitely a big con, but if this shade will actually work for you, the actual powder does amazing things. It locks my foundation into place all day long, and I have tested this product in the hot weather, like 100-degree plus weather, where it's humid out and I'm sweating, and my foundation stays in place extremely well. If you have dry skin, this is not going to be a good product for you because it instantly looks matte, and I think it makes my skin look really nice because it looks like a soft matte finish. Like it doesn't necessarily suck all of the moisture out of your skin, but your skin definitely looks mattified when you apply this. And at the same time, throughout the day, like I do get a little bit oily, but if I blot my skin, my foundation stays in place really well. In the past, when I've blotted my skin after using like a different setting powder, it's lifted the foundation and it just doesn't look as nice, whereas I feel like this product really does truly lock your foundation into place. So even if you get oily, even if you blot your skin, your foundation underneath does not move. I do not think it's going to work for me. By the time fall rolls around and I lose my tan, my skin will be way too light at this point for this product to work. So, you know, it's kind of a downside. And if you have a darker skin tone, I don't know if it's going to be too light for you because it does have that hint of color to it. So if you guys have tried this, let us know what you think in the comments below, if it works for you or if it doesn't. Okay, so the other powder that I picked up is from Too Faced. This one is the Peach Perfect Mattifying Loose Setting Powder. And I go through phases where I like loose powders and then I don't, and I've kind of been enjoying them again lately, especially as finishing powders. I really like the packaging on this powder. I feel like it feels high quality. I like that when you open it up, there is an actual closure, which just keeps the entire thing a little bit cleaner. And I feel like I just make such a mess with loose powders and loose products in general, so I really enjoy the packaging. This product actually works really well. I think that it does mattify my skin. It's probably one of my favorite loose setting powders. I really enjoy the Cover FX setting powder because I feel like that one mattifies my skin really well too, but it's also, it doesn't make my skin look completely flat or completely matte. I think that this powder does its job, but the thing for me is that it does have a slight peach tone to it. It's very, very subtle. It's not super noticeable. I wouldn't consider it like a true translucent powder just because I can tell the difference on my skin tone, but I think if you have like peach or pink undertones, this is going to be a great option for you, especially if you have oily skin, because I do think it keeps my skin matte pretty well throughout the day. And I think it's a little bit less mattifying than the Urban Decay All Nighter, but it's it's kind of like the perfect everyday setting powder because it's not too heavy, it's not too mattifying, but it does just kind of lock your foundation into place well. Again, I feel like this all-nighter one does keep my foundation in place a little bit longer, but if you are a fan of loose powders, I do recommend checking it out. Okay, let's talk about a few cheek products. I did grab the Natasha Denona Blush and Glow, and this is a little mini duo that comes with a mini blush and a mini highlighter. I don't know why, but I just did not even realize that Natasha Denona did anything other than eyeshadow palettes, just because I feel like the brand is so well known for their expensive eyeshadow palettes, and I just haven't been able to justify spending that much on one palette. I might grab one of the mini palettes, especially after trying out like this little mini duo, because I've really enjoyed it. The pans are definitely small. I usually use a little bit of a smaller blush brush, so for me, it works okay. I don't have an issue with that, but if you use a larger fluffy blush brush, this is going to be a little bit frustrating because it is so small. As for highlighter, I use this Wet n Wild tapered highlighting brush, and I feel like it fits perfectly inside, but again, if you use a fan brush or a larger brush, you're probably going to be a little bit frustrated, so keep that in mind. I do like bringing this with me again because it is so small and compact, and it does have a little mirror. I will say that this product applies so much better than it swatches, and I feel like it's usually the opposite. Like, products usually swatch really well and don't apply as nicely, but when I first swatched this, I was like, it's going to be way too subtle. It's not even going to show up on my skin, and I like subtle face products. I usually go a little bit more subtle with my blushes, but again, because I did get a little bit of a tan, I've noticed that I have to go in with a little bit of a heavier hand, and it does build nicely. I think if you have like a medium tan, deep or dark skin tone, it might be a little bit too subtle for you depending on your personal preferences, but you can build it up. I think that is possible. I actually like mixing the blush and the highlight together for more of like a glowy all over appearance. I think that's really beautiful too. So I do really like this product. I think the formula is interesting. I don't think it's going to be everybody's favorite. I kind of feel like it's a good formula, but I have other formulas in blushes and highlighters that I enjoy more. So I don't think that I'd buy another Natasha Denona highlighter. I'd rather buy like a Becca highlighter, or really that's it. Like, Becca highlighters are my favorite high-end highlighter formula. And then as for the blush formula, it's really pretty, but again, I'd rather spend my money on maybe like an Hourglass blush or a Tarte blush. I think it's nice, and I love that it's like small and compact, and I don't regret buying it, but at the same time, I don't think the formula is like my absolute favorite formula that I've ever tried. I also grabbed the Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush in the shade Fairy Flush. This one is a limited edition shade, I believe. It's part of like their new fairy collection, and I thought the packaging was really cute. It has like these loose stars in the cap, and it's just kind of fun. It's a little bit different than their regular Amazonian Clay 12-Hour blushes, which are nice and sleek and compact, but I like this one better. I think it's really fun. This color is really gorgeous. I'm wearing it today. I don't know if you guys can tell. I feel like my blush is very subtle, and that's usually the way that I like it. I like this color a lot. At first, I thought it might be a little bit too light for me once I got it in the mail, but it actually looks really pretty on my skin tone. Tarte has a lot of shades in this line, and some of them are really dark and dramatic and intense and beautiful, and I think if you have a darker skin tone, those are going to be more ideal for you, whereas if you have a fair or light to medium skin tone, this color would work for you. I really do like the Amazonian Clay formula. This one is identical to their regular blushes, even though it is a limited edition item. They're very matte, so I feel like they're great for oily skin because they go on well and they stay in place really well throughout the day, and I like it a lot. So if you've been considering this color, I do recommend it. Along with that blush, I did pick up the Tarte Love, Trust, and Fairy Dust eyeshadow palette, which is part of the same collection. I did already review this on my channel, so I'll link that video below, but just like to quickly gloss over it, I did enjoy the palette. I think the quality is really nice, and Tarte shadows are a little bit hit and miss for me, but honestly, I feel like this one was really good. The matte shadows are pigmented and they blend out beautifully, and the metallic shadows are really smooth and they go on nicely. The metallic shadows are a little bit more subtle, but if you are a fan of like pinks and purples and neutrals, this is a great option to have in your collection. Okay, I have two face products and two eye products. The first face product is from Coola. It is their Mineral Sunscreen Cucumber Matte Finish. This is actually not the same product that I ordered. I originally ordered like the matte sunscreen that had a hint of color to it, but I decided just to try this one out even though it wasn't the one I ordered, because I was kind of curious about this one too, and I'm glad that I did use it because I felt like it worked really well. It's actually become my new daily go-to sunscreen. I like this because it goes on nicely. It does not irritate my skin at all, which is so big because a lot of products that have SPF in them really irritate really irritate my skin to the point where I just don't even want to apply them because my skin is itchy and uncomfortable. But this one just feels like a nice matte primer, honestly. It goes on really beautifully. It leaves my skin with a matte finish, which is really nice for those hot summer days because my skin's just going to get oily throughout the day. I know you do have to apply a pretty significant amount. It's water resistant for up to 40 minutes. So, you know, it just kind of depends. I feel like people are they get very passionate about SPF and how you're supposed to apply it and how you're supposed to use it. They actually get angry sometimes. Like when I'm reading the YouTube comments, people are just so like intense about SPF. I do like using it as a base. I know that it's not going to protect my skin all day long, but there are other products that you can use on top, like powders with SPF in them. And I mean, honestly, if you want your skin to be 100% protected, you're probably going to have to remove your makeup and apply it all over again. But that's just not practical for a lot of people day to day. So I do think that this is a good starting point if you want to kick off your makeup routine with an SPF. And then there are other products that you can use throughout the day to just kind of make sure your skin is protected. But I do think this is a good start because it is not irritating at all, at least for me, and it leaves my skin with that matte finish. The other face product that I tried is the Makeup Revolution Fast Base Stick Foundation, and I have the shade F1. F1 is significantly too light for me. I don't know what I was thinking when I purchased this product. I never know what shade to choose when I'm buying foundations online. And when I went to my local Ulta, like all of the shades in the middle were completely sold out. There were really light shades and then some darker shades, but the middle range was like completely sold out. So honestly, I don't know what my perfect shade would be, but I don't really like the foundation. I don't think it's ideal for oily skin. I feel like it's very hydrating. It's very moisturizing. So if you have dry skin, you might enjoy it. And I usually go for like at least a medium coverage foundation, medium to full, definitely at least like a buildable foundation. But I felt like this one was so sheer that it just wasn't worth it for me. I personally don't do a lot of sheer foundations because there are days when I don't wear foundation. And if I do want more of like a light coverage, I'll just go in and use concealer. So I personally was not the biggest fan of this. I also feel like my expectation for stick foundations is kind of high because my favorite stick foundation is from Hourglass and that one is so good. So I kind of feel like I haven't found another one that like lives up to that one. Even though that one's more expensive, I'd rather spend my money and use that than, you know, save money and use this because I would need so much product to get the coverage that I want. I do have two eye products to quickly touch on. I did grab two of the Stila Glitter and Glow liquid eyeshadows. I have tried these in the past. I actually only have one other shade. This one is Smoldering Satin, which I do enjoy. But I got these on sale for like 40% off, maybe more, but I'm so cheap I won't spend full price on these just because I feel like I wouldn't get enough use out of them to justify the full price cost. But because they were on sale, I did grab two. So I got Rose Gold Retro and then also the shade Sea Siren. I have tried this product before and I enjoy it, but I will say the shade Sea Siren is my favorite. It's really beautiful because you can sheer it out for more of like just like a really pretty sheen all over the lid or build it up for more of an intense look. And this one's less glittery and more metallic than some of the other shades, which I kind of enjoy. I'm not super big into glittery eye looks, but I do like glitter every once in a while, which is why I do have a couple of these. But I like Sea Siren just because I feel like it's a little bit different, it's a little interesting. So I am a fan. I will say that Essence has like liquid metallic shadows that are significantly less expensive. I think they're like $5. I just talked about them in a recent video, and I think I'll probably be sticking with those from now on just because they are so much less expensive. And the last product that I want to mention is a repurchase, but it's been a long time since I purchased it, so I wanted to kind of test it out again and see if I felt the same way. It is the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara. This used to be my favorite mascara of all time, and then I kind of switched over to using the Essence Lash Princess Volume Mascara, which comes with a curved wand. But now that I've been using this one again, I do love it. I've missed it so much. It just makes my lashes a little bit longer, a little bit more dramatic, and I am a fan of it. I think that I like the volume version a little bit better, but I mean, they're $5 each, so it's kind of nice to have both in your collection because you can layer them together or use them separately depending on what type of look you're going for. So I do feel like it makes my lashes really long, really dramatic, and I am glad that I repurchased it again. So those were my thoughts on all of the products. I didn't have too many fails. I think I had like one or two, but in general, I was really happy with my purchases. reviews, which makes me happy because obviously nobody like sets out to buy products hoping they'll fail for them. I feel like whenever I try out the products and I love the majority of them, that's when I know I placed like a successful order, just because I try to research my purchases ahead of time, and I try not to buy products that won't work for me, but sometimes you just never know. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.